Hi. Yes, we did. We did talk. He made some couple changes to it. We emailed them to me.
And I got that email and didn't print it. So is there anything you're all set?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Just to let you know, so with that county MOU,
Yeah.
the Peter and my discussion was language inserted that would make it clear the village will only take title after the property had been remediated or rehabilitated or demolished. Something.
I think we thought it was evident when doing that, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't quite clear. And then once he explained it to me, it was like, okay, here's what the plan is. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then there's a...
And practice, we didn't come back and you guys accept it. So that'd be a whole other thing. That's not the intent at all.
And then there's a sunset clause. Or basically, the agreement just lasts for a year. If it should have only be over a year.
Yeah.
But if for whatever reason the properties haven't been sold and the village hasn't taken them, then in a year we might say, oh, hey, we're going to keep that thing going. Right. For sure.
Thank you.
There's a newer version. Yeah, I can email it to you, Ron.
She was the president.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I would recommend it.
Oh, really? No, I was on, I had a couple days off, so I'd have to work about it. Nobody told me that. It's gonna be this Saturday.
Once they're ready to go to the house.
Hopefully we get one more here. Might be going to 7:15.
So maybe
I'll do that.
What's that? Grandma? She walked in up to the...
Oh, there you are.
This diner today.
Who's your phone? Oh, still my pen. I said, I didn't know if it was going to be. Oh,
Was that one?
yeah.
Eric.
Easy enough.
Came home, I had my neighbor every year has a barbecue in his yard, in my yard. She was like, yeah,
Maybe our Tommy just gave us
I got it. So I don't know if you had to sign the sheet.
I know the departments are fire.
Well, I will, if we haven't already.
Yeah, but it's funny, it's slightly different. This is the one that Bob sent me.
We discussed the actual 18. Is it unique?
Whatever, how are you?
All our taxpayers.
It's like a little extra.
We'll figure out that later. We'll there about it.
Well, some.
This is straight there.
Everybody rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, as we gather this day to keep important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding.
All right, first item is public comments.
My name's Kurt Kimmerman. I live on 118 Southside Drive. I'm going to read you a letter first from a neighbor who wasn't able to come today. This is from Denise Silvanek, who lives on 134 at Southside Drive. I'll try to be quick. I'm going to make concern. I'm writing this letter to voice my concern about the possibility of more buildings being built on the road from my house. I'm not able to be there in person. Ever since the apartment was built, it has been built, we have experienced water issues like never before, including during the floods of 06 and 11. For the past 2 years, there have been rainstorms that because of the diversion of all the water from the hill above the apartment onto one small ditch, which was a ditch which is a ditch that cannot keep up with all the water. It has not only washed out all the rocks onto the roadway. The past time part of the road had sunk in. There is also a ditch that runs parallel to the roadway that has not been maintained, causing water to build up and run down the road onto our yards, driveways, and creating damage to both. There's also a ditch behind the house in the field that have not been maintained, which has ultimately weakened and put havoc on our whole property, causing mass amounts of water to pour into our land. We were told that the issue is going to be taken care of the last time this had happened, but clearly it was not. As in the last storm last week, it was only worse than the first time. I contacted the village, who told me that it was the responsibility of the management of the building to fix it and to contact them. Upon doing so, I called the building only to be told that it had contacted the headquarters in Rochester and was told that it was the village's responsibility and not theirs. I can only imagine what building more buildings will do, as it will only increase our issues and that have been having since the first building was built. Not only has it caused us water issues, but there has also been reports of rats, mice, and other things around the building, bears and other animals getting into the dumpsters that are overflowing, and other issues that residents have expressed. The lack of upkeep on one building is already causing enough issues. What is going to happen by adding more? Our area runs off of a well system, which also raises concern as what would happen with more further buildings that are run off of it. She didn't realize that that's city. I hope you take concern into consideration in decisions. Thanks, Denise. I have the property right next door on the other side of that little tiny creek. It's a dry creek bed on 80% of the year because it's a runoff from, I'm assuming, way up to the Halstead development and up by Strong Road. But it wasn't there because of to help the apartment building next door, which has now 3 major diversion dishes behind the building that all run off into that creek. That wasn't in the plans. I remember the plans when it first got built. The plans were for runoff to run into those ponds in the front of the building. But I remember what happened when we had our first major storm once that was all built. They didn't have it blacktopped yet, but all their driveways had major runoff and it ran all the gravel straight down into the road. The other night, those driveways were running fiercely across the road. So they came up with a plan, and I don't know if it was the town's approval or not, but they put diversion ditches all the way around the top above the buildings, right into this creek. Well, that's above my building. I got pictures of it. I don't have them downloaded. I can supply it to anybody who's requesting it. But like waterfalls going into this creek. It blew out above my building and then came into the 3 apartments, and it was probably about 1.5 to 2 feet in the parking lot alone, and then ran down my driveway, taking out my driveway. Now, I'm just finished up pressure washing the skid steer that I had rented and 45 ton of new soil to repair the driveway and the parking lot above, and to put some sort of diversion thing in case this happens again. But I'm using it now my property for a diversion ditch. I also received the same treatment from the Rochester company, saying that it was our town's responsibility, not theirs. The town says they're the ones that gave me the number for Rochester. So I'm here to find out and to have a little discussion here to find out whose responsibility is it, and is it on me to have an extra $1,000 for my property repair plus my time to fix this problem. Not only that, I've got other issues. That by the way, that creek bed is on their property, not on mine. I always thought it was mine, but we already went through that when they were building the property because they had it surveyed. So by doing what they have done, undermined the trees that are on the creek. So all the dirt underneath the huge trees are exposed, the roots are all exposed, and the trees are leaning towards my building. Now, I have a chainsaw, but I can't cut down somebody else's tree. So these are my concerns and my tenants' concerns because of the trees, especially. The water I'm trying to take care of, but I also want to know, can I recoup the costs, and how do we resolve this issue if we're going to have other buildings being built? I'd hate to see more issues, because I just heard when I was going through this, which I never knew about. I thought it was all canceled from what Itchy told me, but the second building wasn't going to happen, but here now it might happen with maybe a building for Turtle Town or something. So with those added things there, I need to wonder where the water's going to go for future floods, because this wasn't the end last week. So.
Who did you, I guess, who and when did you talk to anyone? I heard you mention Itchy. When's the last time you talked to anybody non-Rochester firm?
Well, I talked to Chuck, who's your new code enforcer. And Chuck had talked to, said he was going to get a hold of Rob Mandel. Are we here today? No. It's the sewer man out of town. And Fran check from Nicholas. Or the insurance guy, whoever that is. Anyway. I didn't get the name of the Rochester person. It was a very short conversation and they hung up on him. They said, it's not our problem. One, it's not our problem, you need to call it down. And then just hung up. So apparently they've gotten several calls. But
When did you talk to the code enforcement?
the very day after, and on Monday, Friday I talked to him. I've been in contact with him.
So our,
He went in and inspected the area, he saw what was going on. Yeah. And that's when he said he was going to talk to this Rod. I think that's what he had told me.
Jeff, is that here?
yeah, I'm surprised I didn't hear anything from Jeff.
Jeff,
Yeah, Jeff Souls.
Yeah.
He's usually really, gets with me real fast, and of course they had the whole village to clean up.
Now the state, it blew out the bottom drain pipe as well, right at the edge of my property by my old mailboxes, and which is what the other lady was talking about in the letter, because they live below, and it goes up and over, and they get washed out below. So the water literally took the drain out, and the sluice pipe that was there was kind of like hanging off into the street. We had highway patrol there blocking most of the night until the skidder could come and take probably all of my dirt that was in the road and throw it over the bank. So tried to get him to throw it back in the driveway and then fix it later. So the pipe is only, I think, a 15-incher. So they said it was, I think it was the state that fixed it the other day. I don't know who was there to fix it.
Yeah, 44, yeah.
They said they're only responsible for the first 50 feet. The rest is up to the property owner. Well, they're the property owner, and that's what they said. And I told them I don't own the creek, so I'd appreciate if all your machines are on the other side, on their property, but they couldn't reach the pipe from that side. So they wanted to go on my lawn, which is another issue. And I told them I didn't want that. They don't fix their creek on that side. But I gave them permission to do that because they told me they would come back with topsoil and seed it and straw it and whatever. So we got all working together. But now I got two big tracks that are about that deep on each side. I'm giving them a week before I start calling them.
Well, excuse me, you said apartments, what apartments?
The Wheel of Gardens is the
Yeah,
building
okay.
that we're talking about.
Okay.
And then the second building that they're going to build, up above that. So,
Okay, well,
and I own Southside Properties, which is the building next to it, a two-story building with a massage business. We have 3 apartments and one at the bottom.
So here's what I'll do, sorry. Here's what I'll do. So Jeff's out. He's the DPW superintendent. So I'll get with him, we'll try to collectively, obviously go and see him. Legally, I gotta defer to Nathan, I'm not sure about that part of it, but I gotta start someplace, it's the first I heard about it.
Okay.
So I'll,
That's why I'm here.
unless if you have a different plan, I mean, I want to get the job and take a spin and take a look at it, and see what Jeff has to say.
Somebody can take my number at the end of the meeting and they can contact me.
Okay, what's your number?
343-9741. Kurt Kimberly, KURT.
I should know that since I bought 3 Christmas massage things from you, so. All right,
another thing I would suggest too is that the planning board is having a workshop meeting tomorrow night with the Origo Gardens too, right here at 7 o'clock.
About the second
You're-
phase.
And you're welcome to come, and then the last Tuesday, 2 weeks later, they're having another planning board meeting at the same time. All planning board meetings are open to the public. So you and your neighbors come, and the engineer will be here tomorrow night.
My name's William O'Connell. I live on the other side of the River Gardens, 132 Southside Drive. And Mr. Kimmeling's on the west side, we're on the east side. There's a ditch on our side also that when this was originally planned and brought before the public meeting here, we were told that they were not going to divert any water into the ditch that borders Weber Road, which is across, it's the little one-lane road that goes up to the house behind us, which, by the way, is 128 Southside Drive. So, what's your number?
118.
So 130 is between 118 and 128. But there are 3 large pipes, one from the diversion pond, which only comes when that gets full, overflows actually. And that was running about half full Saturday?
Thursday night.
I can't remember what night this was, we had so much rain.
Thursday night.
But the night that
Thursday.
the culvert washed out, the water was coming down the ditch alongside the road. It had completely filled the top of the catch basin with rocks and debris. It's next to the road. And we're starting to, that's where the water was washing across the road and down through our ditch, across our driveway, took out part of our driveway, and then into the ditch and down into Savannix, who are next to us. We tried at the public meeting, I tried to explain to them that the whole center of that property that they were looking at was wetland. It's wet almost completely 365 days a year unless there's a drought. It's wet. But nobody would listen to me. They'd already done all the surveys, supposedly. So it's interesting to hear that they're going to put more buildings above it, where there's clearly still wetland. I have spent probably $1,500 in the last 2 years trying to get drainage in that will take the water that comes down through 128 Southside Drive from the IDA land above it, because they have not done anything for diversion ditches there. The water comes straight down off the hill. They have a pipe there from someplace, they won't let me find it. I want to plug it because it's dumping water on my land, and it shouldn't be allowed. But I've tried to mitigate it, and I still got water in the garage the other day. So, and in my cellar. It's just out. Savannix had their above ground pool almost completely washed out underneath it. It's not a good situation. I know when they put that in that the county told the village to pound salt, that it was their project, and the village had nothing to say about it. So it's the county IDA that owns the rest of that land still, and they have not done anything about that water. And the climate change is just getting worse.
That was village land.
No, it's county IDA land, all the way up to Strong Road.
So, sorry, but I offer up the same thing I offered him. I got Jeff's out of town, so I obviously can't get with him to come up and even look at it. I'd rather be with him to look at it. So I can offer you that. I'll keep it back to the mayor, and again, I think legally I would prefer to be.
Yeah, just come to that meeting tomorrow night.
But I'll.
Virtually everybody on that strip, all the way down, had some kind of problems with the water.
I do have videos also of those creeks thrown into the dry creeks. I'm not on your side. I didn't know that was even happening.
This only happens when there's heavy rain,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
so we might get a chance to see that in action.
Well, it doesn't,
Oh, thanks.
it happens in rain, just regular rain, because it's coming off that hill, big huge mountain behind it, coming from Strong Road into the diversion ditches, into the creek. And when it gets really bad, it's literally waterfalls going in there. And that, with that amount of water, it's literally undermining all the dirt, making the creek bigger, but there's trees on each side.
Those roots.
Yeah, so, and it plugs quickly. Any debris that's up there, all the tree branches, all the stuff, come down to the town's little 15-inch pipe, and that's the first thing that plugs. So then the water comes up and over and starts taking the dirt that's covering the pipe, that goes away, and then the pipe goes away, and then everything goes bad. Cars would go 50 miles an hour over those creeks.
Can I ask you the phone number as well?
761 4764 is my cell.
4764?
Yes, I'm in and out of town, so
Okay.
I'm here for a couple days again this week.
Okay, so with, what's that?
I had one other issue that I wanted to bring up. As a member of the emergency squad,
Yeah.
last Wednesday I was driving to Lord's Hospital with a patient on board. I could feel the front tire on the ambulance going flat, and I knew the tires had just been replaced the week before. We waited 3 hours in the parking lot at Lord's Hospital to get somebody there with a spare tire that could lift the ambulance and change that tire for us. And when he did that, this Dex Towing ended up bringing it out. It was the day he had no power in the village for so long, on the side of the river. He said that the valve stem was leaking. And I had him also look at a rear tire that I knew was low. And he said also that the valve stem was leaking. We were instructed, once the tire was changed, to come back here to the garage. They called back the mechanics to come and see what they could do about this tire that was back, get some air in it and check it out. But one guy looked at it and said, well, this valve stem's no good. It's leaking. The fire department had bought 5 new tires. They were all put on that ambulance. 2 of the tires that they put on leaked, ruined one of the tires, brand new tire. Okay? And it's, when I asked the mechanic about it, I said, didn't you change the valve stems when you changed the tires? He said, no, they looked okay. And I tried to emphasize to him that if we have a bad accident, we have a heart attack, something along that line, we could be doing 90 miles an hour down the highway trying to get somebody to the hospital. If we have a tire go flat at 90 miles an hour, there's going to be a catastrophic accident. And I asked him to please change the valve stem whenever he changes a tire on any of the ambulances. I don't know that I got through, but I'd like to bring it up here to make sure that it gets through. That that's not acceptable for an ambulance.
All I'm doing is saying sorry, so I'm going to say sorry again.
I understand, but that's why I'm bringing it to your attention.
So I'm gonna address 2 department heads on that, and I will get back to you on that as well. And that's like priority, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else, public comment?
Mike and board, I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm Jeff with Sewage Water. Let everybody know today we started the front water main project on Church Street. It's going from Main Street down Church Street to AutoZone. It's going to stop at that fire hydrant in AutoZone as far as the water main goes down Church Street. It'll be replacing the services across Church Street unit. We're going to be putting a 10-inch valve in Main Street to be able to make the shutdown shorter, so we don't have to interfere with everybody going towards Page Street next time. But it will be about 2.5 week long project. The new 6-inch water main all the way down Church Street with new services. And Main Street is closed between Spencer, Lake Street, the north end of Church Street between Temple and Church Street from Main to front is also, well, Main to AutoZone is closed for probably the next 2 days so that we can get the tie-in in Main Street and get the pipe across Main Street. Once we do that, obviously we'll be out of Main Street, we'll be good. And then it'll just be Church Street that's closed down, the lower portion of Church Street. I've been in communication and talking with Jeff on it. He's aware of it, so we're trying to get this done before the paving. I know he has plans to pave Main Street and Church Street after we're done. So we're trying to get that done. Once we're done with that, we just finished the service at VFW, because that's going to be in the section of paving as well. And then we're going to be in the middle of North Avenue and Main Street for a 10-inch valve repair. So we'll have to coordinate that. We've already been talking with DOT. We have all the DOT information and what they want done. I talked with Jeff as far as what the village wants, and So we'll do that right after this so that that can be part of that paving job. The other thing I just want to let everybody in the village know, of course, I'm sure everybody has seen the papers. Our rate case is obviously finished, so new rates went into effect August 1st. We, as everybody knows, we asked for 33%, we got 10. So, just wanted to give you guys an update in case you get any kind of phone call from anybody or whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. I can answer whatever questions you have.
One question. On the street being shut down, did you contact emergency on that area?
I did. Yeah, I called 687-1010, spoke to the sheriff's department today. Left a message that it would be closed today during the day, open during the night, closed tomorrow again during the day, open tomorrow night. If it goes further than that, I'll call them and let them know it extends further. I also let them know at the same time that no emergency service vehicles will be able to pass through there. Obviously, if it's a fire, we can get whatever, we got road plate it and let the fire trucks come across real quick or whatever we gotta do, but just passing through there, you know, we'd have to go over Park Street and around and down Front Street.
Do you have signage for the detour routes?
Yep, everything's signed out as far as DOT specs, and so we have road closed and one, you know, no
But there's
get
directions
in and all that kind of
detour
stuff.
here.
I don't know if there's, if it's not marked past the road closed, because I drove it today.
Well, I know there was a road closed sign at Lake Street on the one side as you would be driving into that intersection. There was a road closed sign there. There was a road closed sign by the AutoZone parking lot. There's a road closed sign at Spencer.
I had the Spencer one.
And then the road closed sign for the north end of Church Street was actually right up at Main Street because we weren't really doing anything on that northern side of Church. We just couldn't let people come down. So I know that it was like a cone with a square sign that said road closed on it. So I know a couple of people come out and talk about parking, so we worked with a couple of them to allow someone parking in front of the bank and the parking lot for the theater. So we're working with a couple of those people today. But like I said, it should just be tomorrow to make the tie-in. After that, it should be back open.
You have a detour route set up east of Main? East end of Main Street?
Not a detour route specifically, no. Just a sign at Spencer Avenue. So when you come down the hill, you hit the sign, you have to turn right, there's no other way to go. You have to go right, and then you go up to Temple and down.
It's not marked at Temple, I mean, hopefully people know.
Correct, it's not marked up
From
Church Street and Temple, no.
I guess.
Because a lot of people were coming down and going into the massage place that's right there on the corner. So we didn't want to confuse them and let that so that they couldn't come down into the massage place. So we put it right up at the Church of Main. So when they came out of the massage place, they turned right and go to Temple Street instead of coming like.
A detour is only required by DOT on the state road, isn't it?
Probably.
So like if you were gonna close down North
Main
Ave,
Street, same
For
route?
yeah. So if we were closing down State Road, they don't require us to detour up. But in talking with Jeff, he just felt put road close signs up. Because if you come down Main Street, going toward North Avenue, if you hit that sign, it's all one way, so you have nowhere else to go but right. And if you come in off of North Avenue, you hit that sign, there's nowhere else to go but Lake Street. So he felt those detour signs were, if there's only one way to go, detour signs are kind of, yeah. Whereas if you had two different directions and yeah, there's other ways that link into, then you put a detour sign. So, just want to let everybody know.
Anybody else? Public comment?
Just a brief meeting, Bigsby, 244 Main Street. Just want to, quick update, Trustee Morton and I and Jenna Rudler from the Preservation League of New York met, and we have come to a meeting of the minds about the law. So I'm in the process of doing the edits that we agreed on, Nate, and I'll be sending them to you two guys first, and then I'll eventually get to you for your feedback. We have a lot of things like, well, Nate will fix this up, kind of things in the sidelines, so we'll figure it out. And I know Trustee Martin will report on this too. One of the things that we also did was Chief Kennedy approached me at the last meeting and asked me if I knew of any funding that might help with the police department building. And so the three of us, after we met up with Chief Kennedy at the police department, we all had a tour of the police department and have a pretty good idea of the situation that is there. And I guess I would like to make sure that that's on starting to get onto our agenda as a community as something important that needs to be addressed. Jana Redler from the Preservation League was involved because they have funding money that would, we can apply for a grant that would help fund the initial engineering and architectural studies that need to be done before you get any bids in or anything like that. So and that costs like $5,000 to $10,000, something like that. So
Similar
that
to
would
what
be
was done at the
fire
a
station
couple years ago.
So I think that we should move forward with that piece and see what the situation is from that point of view, and then keep on going. But from a citizen's point of view, it was very sobering to see the work conditions that these good people work in every day, and the court is held in every day. And I don't know how long this kind of a building can go on without it really starting to fall apart on top of people's heads and things like that. So I think we should have gotten behind it at some point in the past, but we better get in front of it now.